Don't miss Clownfish Studios' latest crowdfunder, Crimson Wren Volume 1 on Kickstarter and Indiegogo. Thaddeus Wendell's greatest treasure is out there, and it's up to young mage Crimson Wren and the crew of a rundown airship called the True North to find it. But will they find it in time? Crimson Wren of the True North is a race against the clock filled with action, adventure, comedy, and heart. This is a brand new manga-style graphic novel from Clownfish Studios. Go to crimsonwren.com or check it out on Indiegogo and Kickstarter. It ends on November 18th. That's November 18th. And now on with the video. Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon, and we're going to talk Twitter and comic books. We're going to talk about the comic book industry being rattled by Elon Musk buying Twitter, by Twitter changing virtually overnight. The tone of Twitter has changed, and independent comics people, mainstream comics people, comic book journalists, all of these people have been freaking out. And I can't imagine why they would be so very, very upset about Twitter changing hands and Twitter becoming more fair, and Elon Musk literally telling people to vote Republican. Wow, yeah, just to keep the power balance because we have a Democratic president. How very dare he? The reason being is that many people, I wouldn't say many, I'd say a few dozen troublemakers in the comic book industry have used Twitter, have weaponized Twitter over the last 5 to 8 years to gatekeep the industry, to give the appearance of certain people in the industry being truly problematic when maybe they weren't. Maybe they just voted the wrong way or whatever. They've lost power. They've lost. I mean, I'm going to restate that for those of you in the back. You have lost. It's over. This is it. This is how it ends. This is how the cancel culture ends. This is how the blacklists and the bullshit in the mainstream comic book industry end, because there's been a paradigm shift. And it's not just Twitter, it's all around you. We've been talking about this pendulum swing, and we're seeing it all over the place. We're seeing, media outlets cut loose, quote unquote woke journalists. We're seeing a lot of companies trying to pivot back to profit, trying to win back their audiences. James Gunn is being put in charge of DC Comics. Do you think he's going to let a lot of bullshit get in the way of, especially Twitter bullshit, get in the way of what he wants to do with DC? I mean, this is a guy who was canceled by Twitter, So things are absolutely changing. And we're going to talk about this because we've been in the game, the independent comic game, for a long time, both in web comics and printing our own comics. And I've worked on some mainstream titles, a lot of licensed titles. So I've kind of been there, done that. And this hand-wringing is really sad, really stupid. And if you need one social media platform to sell your comic books, you're already lost, man. There's nothing that can be done for you, especially Twitter. Nobody buys shit from Twitter. Nobody buys anything from Twitter because all the customers have been chased off. You saw to that years ago, that you were gonna park it on Twitter. You and your friends were gonna park it on Twitter and drive all the normies away, drive all the customers away. And congratulations, put all your eggs into this basket, and somebody came along and bought the basket. Anyway, we're gonna talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Over 280, almost 281,000 subs. Thank you so much for the support. I'm gonna point out, before we get into it, that Crimson Wren, which is a quirky comic. I mean, this is, it's not a traditional superhero comic. It's definitely kind of indie and manga influenced. And even the subject matter is not something you're going to see in most comics. I mean, we've got freaking airships and paddle wheelers that fly and magic and weird looking creatures. And it's not something you would really see at a mainstream comic book publisher. Between the Indiegogo campaign and Kickstarter, thank you so much for the support, guys. We're at almost $100,000 on this book, right? And we did that without Twitter. We really didn't talk about it much on Twitter because we didn't want Twitter to try to dogpile, dogpile us, dogpile the crowdfunding platforms. There's nothing offensive or political at all in this comic. It's a very straightforward comic, but we know how Twitter is. And if you're not part of the in-group, especially in comics and animation, you must be destroyed, right? And now the platform that they have commandeered, because it used to be pretty fair, right? The platform they've commandeered is in the hands of someone else who promises, now whether or not he'll be successful is a whole other thing, who promises to try to roll it back to make it more fair. They don't like the things he's saying or doing. They don't like the fact that they're going to have to pay for their blue checks when they already paid, $15,000 in some cases. And there are a couple examples of comic book people that have gone on to Hollywood deals that I absolutely believe paid for their blue check. But we're not gonna talk about that yet. So somebody sent me this. This is a comic book person. Big brain billionaire boy basically just broke the foundational pillar of the indie comic industry as it currently exists, so I'm drinking now. I'd be drinking too, but I would be drinking to celebrate that this stranglehold has been broken, because Twitter is ground zero for all the shit we've seen in the comic book industry. All the blacklists, all the whisper networks, all the cancellation attempts, the sock puppet accounts. Some of this stuff has ties to places like Kiwi Farms. I mean, the rabbit hole's gone pretty deep, right? It goes pretty deep with this. There are a lot of journalists involved trying to get comic book creators and comic book adjacent creators, anybody that has anything negative to say about freaking garbage tier Marvel movies, to get them blacklisted. And it's fear. It's fear. They want complete control. They want you to read their blogs. If they have a YouTube channel or a Twitch channel, you're supposed to go to their channel. And they stupidly thought that if they locked it all down nice and tight, and that they had complete control of Twitter, that there would be no alternative, that you would have to go through the gatekeepers. And it's so weird because we started out in webcomics, and in webcomics, that was kind of the tenet of webcomics, is there were no more gatekeepers. Nobody could tell you couldn't publish comics. You could go out on the internet and you could publish any kind of comic you wanted to publish on any kind of subject matter, and you could go find your own audience. And it was scrappy and tenacious, and I really, really miss the old days of webcomics, because now it's kind of weird. Anyway, this attitude has always been, this can-do attitude, this stick-it-to-the-man attitude has always been a part of independent comics, going back to underground comics published 60s and 70s, going back to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, going back to Image Comics. Most of what we consider to be the mainstream now, outside of Marvel and DC, started out as some scrappy, independent operation. So to say that Twitter is the foundational pillar of the indie comics industry, and they literally believe it, just shows how new a lot of these people are. I said it needs to change and evolve. It's been changing and evolving, despite Twitter's best efforts to stop it. Again, the cancel culture, the whisper networks, the outrage, the comics gate, the anti-comics gate, all that drama and bullshit. Ground zero for it has been Twitter. And it's changing. If you go out to comics leaving Twitter on Twitter, you'll see so many people with certain political affiliations, strong political opinions, are getting the hell off of Twitter, loudly announcing they're going to leave. We'll see if they actually do leave. And then we're going to talk about how they really can't find another alternative. They're trying. And like I said before, we're not going to understand how important this actually was, because there is no viable immediate option available to replace Twitter for most people. They've spent so many years parked on this app, driving normies away, driving their peers insane, driving them to hopefully off themselves or, just delete themselves somehow. And it's all been really disgusting to see. And now we have people backpedaling too. They want Twitter amnesty. There shouldn't be any Twitter amnesty. I think if you were a garbage person calling for people to have their careers destroyed, calling for them to be homeless, just because they voted for somebody you didn't like. I don't think there should be any amnesty for that. I really don't. Anyway, we got here, not leaving Twitter for now, but creating Twitter lists so I can see your posts. All my comics colleagues are leaving Twitter. Everyone leaving Twitter right now. I know a lot of comics folks are leaving Twitter. I don't know what all the fancy new platforms are, but here's a link to my ancient dust-filled Tumblr. And Tumblr was basically trolling Twitter users and saying, no, it's way weirder over here. Just stay the hell where you are. We don't want you back. They're owned by WordPress now. They're quasi-respectable. They don't want these people back. Seeing as the options for social media where you can post or promote not safe for work comics are, I won't be leaving Twitter until the lights go out. Okay, so some people aren't leaving. I hope that Twitter users realize that Hollywood perverts leaving Twitter is a good thing. Yeah, hopefully. Everyone on the comic book side of Twitter leaving as we speak because of this. Now they're leaving because of Elon Musk. I'm a little sad about everyone leaving Twitter. It was one of the few social media communities where I could be part of several communities, game developer, comics, and art. They're making a big show of leaving. They're not actually going to leave. They're not actually going to leave. I'm not leaving Twitter, but here you can go to Tumblr, Mastodon, TikTok, and Instagram. Not planning on leaving Twitter for now, because where else are you going to go? So here's the thing. They're trying to figure out how to use Mastodon. This is Heather Ontos. Now, the weird thing is Heather Ontos has me blocked. I don't think I've ever really talked about her much. I think I might have mentioned her offhandedly in a video we did talking about the IDW Star Wars comics. But I am not one of the people who were constantly dunking on her. But apparently I'm on a block list, right? But they're all trying to take over Mastodon now. Mastodon is that garbage app that Musk was mocking. Yeah, it doesn't work very well. There's this whole thread someone sent me. Find me on Mastodon. This is I thought they were all going to go to Pillow Fort, but they're all trying to jump ship the usual suspects to Mastodon, whatever the hell that is. Oh my God, elephants. Is it Republican? It might be Republican. Why are you going there? Why are you going there? It doesn't work. I tried to follow you. It doesn't work. I don't know what to do. I got started last night, but I can't log in through the browser. I don't know what's going on. Man, oh yeah, we know this one. Man, I couldn't manage to get on the Mastodon. So they're basically just commiserating about how they need to jump ship from Twitter and they can't get on to Mastodon. And a lot of other people were joking that Mastodon is a garbage tier app. It's not a viable replacement for Twitter, but I guess they got to go someplace, right? They got to go someplace. Even the Mary Sue. The Mary Sue's like, you got to go someplace else. Here are some Twitter alternatives ranked by how bad I am at using them. Instagram, Facebook, good luck with that. My family's group chat, Tumblr, they don't want you back. Discord, I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of the cancel culture has migrated over to Discord where they think they're doing it in secret, but not really because, there are moles everywhere. Substack. Remember a year ago, 2 years ago? And a lot of people I've seen, they're like, go follow me at Substack. Remember when Substack was where the Nazis all went? You weren't allowed to use Substack because the Nazis were using Substack. Now they're saying use Substack because Elon Musk is worse than the Nazis. We forgot about those guys, and he's the bad guy now. A 90s era chain email, Mastodon. This is funny. Okay, so Mastodon, they even say on the Mary Sue that it doesn't work. I was going to fill this whole section with toot jokes, but since apparently in Mastodon you toot instead of tweet, but this inscrutable prehistoric beast is defending itself somehow. I tried to create an account, but it told me to find a server first, and I don't know what servers to join, and everyone who's on Mastodon has multiple @signs in their usernames, and I don't know what that means, and I think I'm failing right out of the gate here. Like the starting pistol's fired, I'm flat on my face, toot. Number 2, knocking on my neighbor's door to yell about Andor, and TikTok. TikTok, everybody's basically infected TikTok at this point. But the thing about TikTok is you got to be funny. And a lot of these people that have spent so many years hoping for death on their enemies, wishing for death and career destruction, they're not very funny people. They're not very pleasant people to watch. Imagine that. But we're going to see a lot of celebrities say they're leaving. Whoopi Goldberg is leaving. Everybody's leaving. You're not really going to leave. You're going to leave for now. You've got 30 days to change your mind. And when you realize that it's one, not going to be as bad as you thought it was going to be, and two, you can't really afford to not be there, you'll be back. You'll be back. You can't quit it. You've invested too much time into this platform, but you're just angry you can't control it anymore. So I'm going to wrap this up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.